Hey guys, sorry for a couple of technical difficulties there. I try to watch the stream right before I start it just so that I may see what you guys are seeing, and it didn't work. It was really choppy, and then when I come back over here from making a drink, you know, like I always have on my Tuesday streams, I see that there are no slides going. So obviously tonight is another, you know, according to what it says on the screen, it's another Enterprise build. And I don't know why I always do this, but I always set myself up, get everything set up about 45 minutes ahead, and then I wait till the last 8 minutes to start pushing everything. I think it's just so that I can prove that I'm doing okay with everything. Not choppy, looks good. Good, appreciate it, Eric. So, let me think. Well, it was supposed to be this past weekend. It was supposed to be busy. We were supposed to have somebody put up a fence around the hot tub, but he kind of flaked on us twice, and so we fired him, and now I'm putting a fence on one side and then figuring out how to do the other side. And I get to learn how to drill concrete on my own home. That's going to be fun. And, what else? Friday, I'm driving halfway to Milwaukee to pick up my grandson. He's moving back in with us. He's had some issues in Milwaukee. He's done quite a bit of moving in the last year. We're going to give him some stability to get back on his feet and start working back into getting back into the work market. And actually, he's 20. That way, we're giving him the opportunity to get back to where he should be, and actually, once the pandemic is over, start possibly moving on his own. Sunday stream, I was going to try and fix the windows on here. Turned out it's too bright. It was bright and sunny. Might end up working on this a little bit, because looking through the packs, they're still the same size, but there's not a whole lot to do in them, it looks like. Of course, on the other hand, I have had packs where it looks like there's not a whole lot to do, and it turns out that it took me over 2 hours to get through. Also, good news, Ecto 1 parts and Enterprise parts have just shipped, so I should have one or both by next.
This might answer your question. Star Trek. Enterprise includes Star Trek.
Echo, shut up! Just looking at, okay. Yeah, 527, it wasn't receiving any stream data. No, the Ghostbusters car. I've got parts coming for it, and since it's a 4-day weekend, I'll have Friday off as well as Monday. I might do some additional streaming over the weekend. Let's see. Actually, Alexa was talking about the Ghostbuster car, because Ecto is very close to Echo. Let me pause there so that she doesn't start talking. There, she's went. Okay, I didn't hear anything. Other things. Black Pearl. Black Pearl is going to be coming. Not sure if it's going to be coming on the streams, but it's going to start getting videos, because I've got Dremels, but Dremels are far away and really big, and to be able to work on the Black Pearl and do some of the shaving that I need to do, they're just too big and they'll eat the wood down too fast. I've used the Dremel in the spots, and I had to patch some spots on the wooden model before. She did say Star Trek, but it was the correct trigger word. But so actually my wife bought me, because she loves me, and I did whole lot of things this weekend. Hauled a lot of wood, spent 4 hours in the yard yesterday mowing both the front and backyard. So she bought me a mini Dremel, about that big, along with a bit set. So you'll see you'll see some of the pearl, because I haven't done anything on it for a long time. And Eric keeps building wooden ships, and I keep going, I feel so ashamed because I haven't done anything on the pearl for so long. The space shuttle build is coming together. Did some work on the shuttle itself this past weekend during the live stream, and the hold up on that is I gotta try and not melt any more of the floors when I do the lighting. The top floor it's not really bad, but I melted a little bit of plastic. So if you look, you'll see it. The other floors won't matter so much because they're going to be underneath other floors. But I still got to work something out, and I'm going to probably use this piece of tile because I'm gluing the LED strip in a square, and I'm not using any wire for the positive side. The red side, I'm using just straight good one, Donnie. I'm using just straight solder because the square is just that right size to where the tie points on one side or the other are going to basically sit on top of each other. Matter of fact, let me get what I've done and I'll show you. And because it's really bright, I'm going to resistor it down. But if you look on here, you can see how these points in the corners where they touch, I just used the solder instead. But enough of that. You guys didn't come here to see the shuttle, the Ecto, the Pearl, Tiny Batman. You guys came to see the Enterprise, so let me switch cameras and we will start working on the Enterprise. Actually, we'll leave the mouse there. Yeah, and anybody who doesn't know, Eric has gone out and gotten himself a Black Pearl, looked at it. It's really close to the same size as mine. Exactly. We came for Enterprise. And in case anybody's curious, other than a couple of times disconnecting it for checking out other things, this is still running. I'd say the HLA FX boards, FX001 is a great board. It will last a long time because this has been, like I said, this has been running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for coming up on 2 weeks now. And then 002 is due out soon. Really curious, really looking forward to what that does, because based on what Spencer was saying this weekend, it's got a lot of goodness in it. So, issue 4 starts with pack 11. Now I actually looked through this. It's going to be some lighting on the neck. It's going to be some frame parts, more lighting on the neck, more of the pieces for the frame, and the impulse engine as well. Impulse engine looked kind of interesting on how they're going to do it. So, but well, we'll see when we get to it. And here's the neck. This as well. This was actually I want to say it was. I think it was this one. No, it's this one in particular that has light bleed on it. So I need to take care of that sometime. I didn't start without you. You were late. Welcome, Mark. I'm curious. I'm just curious where you are on your build, Mark, because I haven't seen anything from your Enterprise in quite a while. So let me cut the parts open. And yes, I do have the massive massive screw box. The second one that I got when they accidentally sent me issue 3 twice, I peeled this sticker off because it just wasn't on right. This one here has a piece of something underneath, a couple of spots where things are. Exactly, Mark. I knew you were showing up, so that's when I started. Had to redo the video for part 2. What'd you do? Take it apart? I feel your pain because I have redone a video before, like 3 times before I got it to where it was actually ready to go and be posted. First thing we got here, I'm going to just pull it out piece by piece. Is it backwards on the internet? Okay, hang on just a second. You're right, it was. Just looked up there. Ah, you did a voiceover, so that's cool. Yeah, and it's the reason the video was backwards is because this weekend it was really kind of weird. When we do the stream, somehow in Discord, it flips the video. So if I don't, so I flipped the video there, and it was still flipped from that, and so now I've flipped it again. So it is what it is, I guess. So let me see, BM screws. I'm going to go ahead and put the screws away as I pull them out. So we've got the rear windows. These are the left windows. I don't know if I can. It's unfortunate the way where this camera is set up because I lose the light when I get up too close. There. I think you should have seen the L right there in the reflection. That's going to be the lights for that side, and it's kind of interesting. I read through, and it's a little bit different how they're saying to put this window in. I'm not going to follow their instructions completely because one of their instructions says bend the LED this way. Okay, now that you've got it bent this way, cool. That's cool, Mark. You're up to the third. One thing you did miss is my 5th issue is just now shipping. But what I was saying on the LED there, and you'll see it, I'm going to be very gentle, may not follow completely their instructions because it says to take one of these and bend it right here at the plastic. I'll answer that in a second, Mark. Bend it right here at the plastic, and then after you have it bent and it's installed, then bend it a different direction. I'm going to see if I can avoid that. 2 reasons I can see why they did are doing the windows this way, and this way and this way. One is to give you some ability to customize. You know, you can put the windows in your own way, darken the ones you want. And 2, hey Kenny, welcome. And 2, the second reason they are doing these, and they never admit it, it's to give you enough to feel so that you feel like you had a lot to do in each issue. That's how they do these part works, is they put enough stuff in there to where you feel like you did a lot by the time you get to the end of each piece or of each issue. You'd almost say it's a little shady, but it keeps people interested in it, and it keeps people thinking they're getting a good value for their dollar, which there are those of us who don't care. A metal USS Enterprise of this size, I like it. I would be too, to be honest, Mark. So everybody remembers this thing broke. Actually, the red broke. I ripped the black off. A lot of people, I've seen a lot of comments from people that how bad this is. You know, I have a power supply, so I'm able to get around that. As a matter of fact, Blinky board is shutting off now because there will be light tests, and I don't want to inadvertently hook 9 volts to my 3.5 volt system and blow up LEDs. As much as Eric would like to see that. Is Eric even here? I think Eric's here. Eric, are you here? I saw you earlier, I believe. Let me set that over here. Okay, so first thing it says, yeah, I've seen how big this frame is going to get. It's pretty awesome. And I'm going to move the instructions out of the way. Again, putting out the red cloth so that I don't scratch any of the paint off of here. So the first piece, double check. Okay. So this pushes in here like that, which is, you know, it's really nice. Can't see that. Fell out because of the way my lights are right now. You can't see that the windows are in there. I don't think you can see a little bit of a reflection. You'll see them better when I put light through them. What? I didn't drop nothing. And so this is the first spot, and I actually read the instructions a little bit. They actually tell you which color wires to put in which place. I've just been looking at the pictures. But what they're saying to do on this one, on the red and black, like I said, it says to fold it like that, which I would do, except for at the end of it, they tell me to fold it a different direction, and I don't want to bend the tips or bend the wires that much and break them off. So I'm just going to lay it in here, which is where the red or the green and yellow go, and the red and black I'm going to lay in here, and you can see why they're saying to bend it, but they're telling you to bend it at a 90 degree. And if you look, you've got this lug here that is blocking the wire. I can get around that a little bit. I'm not going to bend it at a 90 degree like they I mean, they literally show in the book right here. It says bend at 90 degrees. And then on the next page, maybe it's not that page. I know it says at some point shortly, oh, here. Now it says to bend all the cables pretty much flat that direction. I'm like, I am not bending those leads that much. I know, Mark. I read the directions. I actually read a little bit of the directions. Don't kick me out of HLI. So let me see if I can bend this just a hair. It's not quite 90 degrees and it's not flat. And it'll actually fit in there. Okay, so 2 BP screws. There's 2 BP screws and the reflective piece, again with an L on here. You can see the L there. I need Kenny to come over and do my lighting for my shop because his stuff is always visible. That goes on there like that. Push this down gently over top. And it is holding it in place and it's not bent at a 90 degree angle. I know, Mark, I'm sorry. I'll never read the instructions again. Actually, I got 2 BPs. I need 4 BPs. If it helps, I did look at the pictures too. Everything is snagging on this cloth tonight. So there's the first one. I'm going to do them cross corners so that once they're started, I should be able to let go of the piece if they start. That's better. That one was just sitting on top of the plastic. Man, I tell you what, guys, it is only, I mean, it's not even June yet, but it is decided that summer weather needs to be in full swing here in Illinois. It is humid, it's 40% humidity outside, 80 degrees outside, which means it's 79 here in the shop. Here in the next week or so, I'm going to have to break out my little portable air conditioner for in here. I just realized something looking at this. I certainly hope that they're not going to have open shuttle bays. It would be nice if they were, but I've got LEDs exactly in the center of both of the shuttle bays. Okay, so all 4 of them are now at least started. Let me tighten them down to make sure that nothing's going anywhere. And for those of you that haven't seen me do it before, I'm going to do what I like to call my fingernail method. I do it on everything. I do it on cars. When I tighten the screw down on something on a car, I'll put my fingernail and see if I can go up underneath the screw or the bolt. And if I can't, I call it good. So there you go. 4 screws holding down that. It is entirely too hot. Of course, you're from the Pacific Northwest, where you've got the marine climate making it nice for you. They don't say to do this yet, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to test those LEDs and make sure they're good. Always helps if you put the leads on there right. That's only one that needs to go on there, and it was 3 batteries in the little power supply. So it should be 4.5 volts. Just to be on the safe side, I'll crank it down to about 4. 3.4 volts. I can see from the back side it's lighting. You can see, hang on, let me, actually there. That's when I need the shadow. Mother puss bucket. Not sure how much I'm going to worry about those light leaks. I'm definitely not going to do what I've seen some people do. If you look, you can see it here, the light leaks. I've seen somebody use black nail polish basically on the top, which has left big blobs that they scrape off. It looks really bad. See, there's a nice 70 here today, 90 tomorrow. Good on you, Kenny. It's going to be like 86 tomorrow here. Hey Matt, glad you could make it. So let me go. Actually, I'm gonna unplug this. This one off of here. Move on to the next part, which is expanding the frame for the saucer. So last time we left off on the saucer, on the frame, had these two pieces sticking out, and now you've got the rest here, which is gonna take it a little bit further. 60 and no rain. I'm jealous, Mark. I need 3 BM or 4 BM screws. Look at that. I just stuck the magnet or the screwdriver in there and pulled it out, and that's what I got was 4. So there's 1. And again, I'm doing them cross corners like like you basically do anything if you've done any kinds of mechanics. There's 2, 3, and not tightening them down all the way, because I don't want to have to mess with them and trying to get the last ones in. So I'm going to tighten number 4 all the way up. And back to 3. A little bit loose still. I can shift it still, not visibly, but it shifted. I could feel it shift when I picked it up. Skeleton, yes, the skeleton is metal. That's what most of the weight's going to be on this ship. Very similar to what they did on the Millennium Falcon. Full metal skeleton. These spacers should be where the bottom of the saucer attaches. So there's that. I'm looking something. Huh. I didn't catch it, but okay. I'm sitting here looking at this wire going, why do I have this wire left over? It's actually it looks plastic because of the paint job, but it's metal. Matter of fact, do I have? Let's find out if it's steel. It's not a ferrous metal. I have rare earth magnets in here, and they just fall off. It's probably aluminum. So that's where we end here. And I want to say these gaps are here on purpose. Just looking, there are no points that it looks like there'll be any more bracing on the backside here, although these might be hexagonal. The nuts might go in there. All right, on to stage 12. Not 13, 12. So in 12 is where we're going to use these lights. me open the other side because everything is right there. I don't want something to fall or get cut while I'm cutting the end off. This is true, Donnie. It's a super space composite. It's a special asteroid that crashed to Earth a couple years ago. So this in stage 12, there's 2 each of the spacers. And the silver backing piece, and more lights for the neck for the other side. Bunch of BP and a bunch of BM screws. Should I put them in the right container? I mean, it's kind of funny how big the screw container is. Hey Spence, welcome. Glad you could make it. So it's kind of funny how huge this box is and how tiny the screws are. No. Kind of entertains me. It's starting to get dark outside, so Echo, turn on patio lights. Oh, duh, those are the ones that are already on. Echo, turn on patio. That's better. Yeah, it's if Spence, what up? If you notice, Kenny, I'm keeping parts in here as well. This, for me, especially with the types of models I do, with a lot of small parts, they'll fit in here great, and these also come out. Since they screwed up and ended up sending me 2 stage 3s, I have 2 of these, so I've got a lot of storage as I do my models. Okay, back to where I was. Hey, put this on top of the instructions so I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, so in stage 12, do the exact same thing. And it again says bend 90 degrees, and I'm not gonna bend 90 degrees because when I do the next bend, I don't want to break it. So I'm gonna bend this one just a hair to where it'll get past that lug. That one will sit down in there. Actually, you know what? I know it's coming, so I'm going to bend these up towards the top so they're out of the way. And when you bend this one, you can see you can nestle it down next to this lug so it doesn't get damaged when this either attaches to the frame or if a panel gets attached to the bottom there. So let me put this in. By the way, I don't know if you guys realize, but I've just basically I'm ignoring the instructions completely now, just doing what I know needs to happen. Kind of like I'm redeeming myself, Mark, from having read something earlier. So push those in, and because the reflector goes right on top of it, I'm not going to do any kind of glue on them because it'd be overkill. I just have to get them in there and then get the part on top so that they stay in place. And there. Nice click when it pops down into place. It's not actually attached, but clicks that so you know that you got it to where you needed to. And let's see. Nope, only got 3 out of the 4 I need. And then I got 2 more. So. Love my magnetic screwdrivers because they hold onto the screws. So let me make sure, let me see if I can get this one threaded. That one's in there. And I should be able to set that down without losing the LEDs. I didn't know you were from Indiana, Matt. Where at in Indiana? It's kind of cool to see how many of us come from different locations. I know we have 1 or 2 people that are on HLI that are from Illinois. Just north of Indianapolis. Okay. It's kind of cool, like I said. So, no, it's something that just occurred to me. Because we've all been talking about it. We actually were talking about meeting up for, or during Wonderfest. Just out of curiosity, how many people are going to go to Wonderfest this year? I've considered it, but probably not, because the whole situation with COVID, and I know there's a vaccine, or there's vaccines out there and everything, but my wife has health issues that COVID could really screw up, so I'm not going to risk it. It's okay, Donnie, you can go next year. That's when I'm going. As a matter of fact, Eric can go next year too. That way, because by then his back should be better. It looks like all of us are going next year. So all of us are going to meet up next year. Just seems like a plan to me. So now let me do the test that it says to do now. And actually the test that it says to do at this point in the book, which I didn't do a few minutes ago, I could have, is to plug in all the leads from the neck just to make sure everything works. Cool. That is awesome. I think we should get as many people as we can from HLI. As a matter of fact, Kenny, depending on how much you've got going with the boards, the boards and the models and stuff like that, maybe HLI can be a vendor next year. But on the other hand, if you're a vendor, how much can you enjoy the rest of the show? I'm looking at this. Okay. Yep. I definitely will drive when I go, because it is only about 3.5 hours. I actually kind of contemplated this year just going for half a day. So let me hook these wires up and let's see. Make sure the lights are working. And oh, by the way, Kenny, if the ladies are there, tell them both hello. Okay. Let me hold it up where it's in the shadow of the phone. And they all, well, they work. And again, the painted ones, not as bad on this side, just a couple of light leaks down here and one there, one down here. Yeah, I hear you there, Kenny. Yeah, Donnie, isn't it almost to the point where if you trip going out your front door, you fall into into Kentucky? I know it's a little bit further than that. I think it's almost as long a trip for you to Louisville as it is for me, or Louisville. Because let me think. Kentucky's one state over for me, but it's the entirety of Illinois. Yes, Louisville. I know. I've been there. Last time I was there was 35 years ago. Let me think. 50, let's see, 56, 38 years ago. Well, let me think. Jim comes from Kentucky, doesn't he? Or does he come from Tennessee? See, now Spence is starting shit. It's always Spence's fault. Okay, so that's that. These lights work. Sorry, I'm getting involved with the chat and talking and not building. Okay, so that's the. Now we can't pick up Donnie. Why not? Pick up Donnie. Actually, I don't think Donnie's really on the way. Other than driving, yeah. I haven't been there since last year when I drove to South Carolina to get my son and move him to Omaha. I don't know why he wanted to move to Omaha, but that's where he's at. So, 4 more of these pieces of the bracing pieces. And it says, double check. Okay. Oh. Okay, dopey me. I'm sitting here going, which side is it? Damn, I might have to. Might have to come get you, Donnie. Depends on how much bourbon you got. So I need about 8 BM screws. There's 3, 6, 7. And 8. Worst part about doing that ride, though, is that only Donnie gets to drink. The rest, or Donnie gets to drink, I have to drive. A lifetime supply, Donnie, a lifetime supply. Bourbon and models, you can never have enough of either. Oh, I like Jaeger. So here's the first one, and in case anybody's curious, the small ones go towards the outer edge, allowing the saucer to better the saucer curve inward. What? No Jaeger? Why no Jaeger, Kenny? I know what it is. He doesn't like licorice. Jaeger bombs, I don't think I've ever done one. What is in a Jaeger bomb? So we line these two up on the inner. Get this screw in here. And this is still loose. I didn't tighten it down on purpose. I'm going to go ahead and get all the screws in, or get the screws started on all 4 of them. And then tighten them all down. Grey Goose, that's a vodka, isn't it, Kenny? Not bad. I'm like Donnie. I'm kind of partial to bourbon. Do the occasional Canadian whiskey. Canadian whiskey used to be my drink, but I've switched to bourbon. Mug of beer with a shot glass. Ah, that's right. Nope, I have never done a Jaeger bomb. But I like my bourbon. I like my Canadian whiskey. I tried Scotch one time. I was about 15. I've never had Scotch since. I drink a little bit of beer too, especially since I started making it. But I haven't made any in a while because the stuff that I've made, the pumpkin spice, and then when I didn't realize the pumpkin had gone bad, the just plain spice beer is a little different. What I need to do is start just making the regular beers, no flavors. Although the stout that I made was stout, very, very stout, but really good. And my grandson, who has, sorry guys, I am out of screen. My grandson, who doesn't drink a whole lot of beer, when I let him try it, it was I took it as a compliment when he said, "I don't hate this." No, you don't, Kenny. It's better to be a cheap drunk. The fact that I don't have my military tolerance to alcohol makes me happy, because that way, at one point recently, as about 6 weeks to 2 months ago, I had 3 half-gallon bottles, 2 bourbons, a no-name bourbon, Jim Beam, and it's not Fireball. What is it? Is it Fireball? It is. It's Fireball. Had it in a half-gallon of Fireball, and it's time to go shopping for more. I have not tried a chocolate stout. I want to say that I have seen a chocolate stout recipe. That's because you drank the Miller, didn't you? Not big on Miller. Seen so much alcohol in all my life until I got it in them. Well, Kenny, I'll tell you what, you should have seen when my wife and I got married, because we held our reception in our house. And we put 8 bags of ice we put 10 bags of ice, 8-pound bags, into the bathtub, and there was 80 pounds of ice in there. And when we started the night, you could barely see the alcohol, or see the ice for all the alcohol. And the next morning, you could barely see the ice for the alcohol for all the ice. Schlitz or Old Milwaukee, oh my gosh. I don't know if you like Old Milwaukee, or actually it was Schlitz, but I was in the land of beer. I was in Germany, stationed in Germany, my first duty station, and a couple of Americans opened a bar, and they had Schlitz on tap. The Germans wouldn't touch it. Bitburger. Sorry, I don't know if anybody's had Bitburger here or not, but if you haven't had it, I'll describe how heavy that beer is. It's basically like drinking bread. So, while I've been yakking, hang on, just found a loose screw. While I've been yakking, and not barfing, just talking. Make sure all four of these are tight. And again, I'm off camera. Hang on. Let me move that just a hair. Stream says healthy, but it looks like I've got a spinning donut on here. Absolutely, Matt. Yes, Foster's is basic. Okay. I was watching the screen up here, and it had the donut to death. So, while I've been yakking, I've attached these parts, and this one's loose. Attach these braces on this side, and these braces. Cool. Why is it my stream has been buffering anytime I look at it tonight? I think I need to finally fix that cord, because once I found it, I drilled in the frame of the door so that it would fit. I haven't fixed it yet. So, let me see. Yeah, this is all now tight, and we have the forward section of the saucer. Set this out of the way because I think, let me double check. Oh, yeah, that is that, and these lights is all that was in stage 12. Let me get stage 13. Move that out of the way. The impulse engine. So another piece of frame. BM and BP screws. This is it's white, painted on the outside, but I don't know if you can see it, but it's clear-ish on the inside, and there's a slot right there. And then here's the impulse grill itself. So let me put those over there. Let me put the screws away. And by the way, it's BM, and this time DP instead of BP. Good chatting with you, Matt. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time. DP screws, which this is the first set of DP screws that I've got gotten, because there's no label in the box, so I'm just pulling the round label off and putting it in the bottom of the container area. My mind is not working really well. It was a long day at work today. So step A says to put down here where the impulse engine goes. You've got 3 lugs, one here, one here, and one here. 3 tabs that match up with those, with holes for the screws to go through, and then there's also 2 lugs here with screw holes in it, in them, or in it actually. So let me see. I've redeemed myself, by the way, Mark. I have not read this. Okay, just took a little bit of finagling to get it to go in there. So it goes in like that. And then the screw holes all line up, and it is held in place by 3 of the DP screws. Looked like there was only 3, but there's actually 4, or there is 4, so there is the spare DP screw as well. With this being a clear part, I'm going to tighten it down, but I'm not going to crank it down like I would with other parts, because I do not want the clear to snap. And we all know how fragile clear can be. Just 1, and again, just like I always do, I'm just putting them in a little bit to get them threaded first. So there's number 3. Like I said, just being very careful not to over tighten these. I'm looking, this one's just a hair loose. And again, using my method to make sure they're tight. Fingernail won't fit. That's okay. It is marked as not safe for children. And if we get to that high of numbering on the screws, it's going to be interesting to see what everybody thinks if I get SM screws. I just noticed something here. Let me see if I can. Yeah. Let me bring it up closer. See if you can. So the R is upside right. The L is upside down. You would think they would make them both the same direction. Oh, okay. And this is called the main impulse reflector. In other words, it's going to light up. I wonder if the light actually passes right through it. Hang on. Maybe. It looks like it might be thin enough for the light to pass right through it. That boy ain't right. You're right. He ain't right at all. So this frame piece, and it's going to be more BM screws, Donnie. And I will tell you, Donnie, I have had the same thought many, many times every time I mention the screws. Yeah. So that's going to set on there like that. I'm about to buy. Yeah. Okay. I was thinking I was grabbing the wrong. I was grabbing the plastic instead of the metal screws. The BP instead of BMs. Probably, Donnie. So 4 screws on here. I'm going to start with the inner 2, or start with this inner one just so that it doesn't fall over like it was just now. So I just happened to look down at my own chat window way back at the beginning of the stream when I was having when I couldn't view my stream on YouTube with music and everything else, and somebody said yes, it's good, and I said cool. I thought I said cool. It says cool on my screen still. Hang on, let me get on there and just go there. So whoever told me that the stream was good, cool. Thanks. Yes. BM, DP, SM. It is subliminal messaging from Eaglemoss. They're telling us that we are abusing ourselves by spending as much money with them as we do. By the way, that looks really odd if you're not listening to the audio, and you see BM, DP, and SM. Maybe some subliminal marketing by Eaglemoss. Cool. I'm sorry, guys. I entertain myself a lot. So we get these last 2 in here. I'm just shifting a little bit. One thing, guys, because I have read, if you do any of these models, be very careful, because these screws on all of them are just fragile. I've read so many times about people snapping the heads off of the screws, and I'm always like, what'd you do? Why did you torque it so much? So, there's the saucer at this point. There's the neck, which have been the stars of the show for the evening. And impulse reflector is right there. So issue 14, the first thing it has you do is no, most days I understand. You know, when you and I are talking, Donnie, most days I know what you're talking about. It's because you hang out with normal human beings. Most normal human beings don't understand us. So that's nice, the frame came out. Here's the light for the impulse engine. Rather interesting looking little assembly there. Frame. It's because we're all right in our head where the rest of the people in the world are wrong in their heads. So we've got BM, CP, BP, a little sliver of clear plastic, a reflector for when the lights are in there. Let me put the screws away and we'll see where this takes us. Those are done. Actually, I'm going to leave the BMs right there. P's away. Okay, BP, CP, and BP and CP screws are put away. You get these out of the way. I think, Donnie and Mark, it's because most of us are from a different age than most people today. The millennials don't understand us at all. And, the boomers don't understand us. I barely made it into Gen X, which for a long time I thought I was not Gen X, but it turns out I am. We're just our own generation. And so 4 screws on this piece of framework, and I'm going to move the red cloth in this once I get the last screw in, so you can actually see what size this thing is at this point. How wide the frame is, because the frame I don't think is quite as wide as the rest of the saucer, so there may be some serious plastic on this saucer. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try something in a second here. It's one of these things. This is going to be one of those times that I do something that nobody's expecting, or you guys might expect it. You've watched me long enough. But I tend not to be tied down to my bench if an idea comes to me. So first, let me move this, and going from here to here, this is 18 inches across, guys. Not bad. A little bit of heft to it, but what I want to do, because it's hanging up over there on the wall, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but there's that framework up against well, that's helpful. Sorry guys, I did not mean to put the chair right in front of you. So there's the framework up against the 1-to-1 poster, and you probably can't see it. But over there, holding it up against the poster, it is about 1 inch on either side. Matter of fact, yeah. Let me move some stuff. And I apologize, guys, because actually, I'm not going to risk it. The cameras have been running for a little while, and what tends to happen with my Droid cam is that once the phones heat up a little bit, if I switch, they get really stupid. So let me switch back. There. That's a little bit better representation. I want to say, let me set this on top. So I want to see, let me see. Whoa! Don't throw things. I know that's where you go. Why don't you? So now I can line it up almost perfectly. There. That's what it looks like. Yeah, it does make going to the bathroom difficult unless you got a Coke bottle right next to you. So that's what the framework looks like at this point, guys. I'm pretty impressed still. Hey John, welcome to the stream. You just got here just in time to see what the framework that's been completed at this time looks like in comparison to the full size of what the model is going to look like. So let me put these back over here. Fold the poster back up. And go back to where I'm supposed to be on this. So this, the main impulse reflector. Thank you. Dr. Pepper. Oh, yeah. But Mark, do you want to be peeing in your Dr. Pepper bottle, or do you want a Coke bottle to pee in? I, on the other hand, am not particular. I don't like Pepsi. I'm not a big fan of Pepsi, but I also don't have to have Coke. It's just, I drink generic cola mostly. So this, what is it called? Main impulse reflector 2. Okay, so you got the impulse reflector engine reflector 1 and the impulse engine reflector 2. Same here. I drink tea all day long. Let me see. Let's see if I can get it to where you can see it. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see it. There's a slight slant on both sides of this part. It's tapered towards the front. So this thing slides in here and literally it just fits flush across. And that shadow's perfect. You can see the inner part and the outer part, and it's just flush. They could have made this just a single piece. Then slot this. Bring back the rag. Like I said, don't want to screw up the paint job. So slide this. Oh, yeah. Donnie does Dr. Pepper, or not Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew anyway. So that slots in right in there. So now I've got 3 pieces to the reflector. I'm just looking at how this, oh, missing a piece here. So this piece here with the has 2 lugs on the top. Interesting. They made sure that you cannot put it in there backwards because there's a screw on this side and a pin on this side. And this little board with 4 flush mounted LEDs. LEDs look like they, okay, that's how they go. The pin is for one side of this board, screw goes on the other side, and it doesn't really look like it matters. Which direction you put it, which means it probably matters a whole bunch. Very interesting. Not sure why they would do it this way. Let me flip it around and see if it fits the other way, because what I'm looking, okay. So what I was looking at, guys, there is a specific way it goes, because the way the lights are on here, and this hole, the hole in the center of this piece here, when I put it on here and it was on the pin, the lights are sitting on the surface there and don't go in. But if you flip it around, pin on there, the lights now go all the way in and are flat mounted. And I'm guessing that's not the screw. When you tighten it down, should hold that in place. And it is a BP screw. BP screw goes in on the one side without the pin. Be kind of hard to put it in on the side that has the pin. Tighten down. Now it looks like that. And those 4 LEDs are facing out of there, pointing out to where you'll see them, or they'll shine out. And then this will sit on top of the red piece here. These two lugs that I pointed out on the last issue when I put those parts in. It's going to trap those two parts, the two inner engine parts, inside there. It's going to sit on here like that with 2 screws in there, and I want to say those are CPs. They're not BPs. I thought they were going to be BPs. Tighten these down very carefully because it looks like fragile pieces. It's the key. The thing is, Kenny, my hands don't get too dirty much anymore, other than underneath my fingernails, because I do office work. I work on a computer all day long. But they could have been really messy tonight because we had chicken. Like I said, other than fingernails. So there's that piece installed with the LEDs. White part is in there. And it says to give it a test. And this is one of the few, actually the only one so far that you've got a E and an F. It's the only one with a smaller plug so far that plugs into the E plug. It's okay, Kenny. I know exactly how those days are. Used to be an aircraft mechanic. I never went home clean at all. Alright, so that's plugged in there. And so I see a glow on this side. Actually, that's not too shabby. There it's off. And there it's on. Let me just gently. So that's at the 4.5 volts. I really like the way that came out. I am really happy with that. So let's see what happens with everything plugged in at 4.5 volts. If it was using the AAAs from the battery pack, I would kill the batteries in about 30 seconds here. By the way, guys, I'm not sure if everybody saw Eric's video on his finale on his disco prize. If you have not, you really need to go watch it. I am really impressed with how he finished that thing up. I actually paused his video, and when he first applied the lights, and studied where his lighting was and everything else, because I thought he just did such an awesome job. For his first lit model, that was truly impressive. So now, there's all the lights. You got the almost primary hull still on the neck. You've got the neck lights and then the impulse engine. I am really pleased with this. I love the way this looks. So let me take the power off. And since I'm not going to be putting power back on it tonight, and don't ask me why. I do, but I will tell you I have no idea why I keep plugging in the HLI board. And it does work at 4.6 volts. I will tell you, if you go much below that, though, it will stop. And it will do funky things until you repower it. And of course, it's off screen. So let me get these tools out of the way. Still not sure what I'm going to do with the light leaks, Mark. The ones on the big clear parts here, or on the big single parts here on the neck, not sure what I'm going to do. On the rest of them, throughout the 60 boards on the way. Woohoo! 60 more boards. I might buy some more. But the rest of them, the lights on here and the other hull pieces, I'm going to take them back off. I have an ancient bottle of not quite tulip slick. Matter of fact, I cleaned this out. This was solid paint day before yesterday. Cleaned that out so that I would be able to use it, but decided to buy an actual bottle. I've got the white. I bought a bottle of black tulip slick to use instead of the white, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them out, and as I work my way around the hull, I'm going to put in the tulip slick on the black windows, just around them, so that it blocks the light. I think in the grand scheme of things, the little light leaks that you see, you're concentrating on the things right now, and so I see those light leaks really bad. But I think once the ship is fully built, they're not going to be near as obvious. So let's take a look at what she looks like at this point. Of course, I should have left the bridge part actually attached, or not attached, but just sitting on there. And what I'm doing, let me show you. What I'm doing here is these 4 lugs I can identify as these 4 spots. So I'm just setting it in there, and gravity is just holding it in. Hey Mark, did you do I think you said you did actually I think you showed it in your video that you did the warp nacelle mod. Not sure, well, I haven't gotten to mine yet, but I need to. So the neck is going to sit here separately. And if I remember right, this should fit. Actually, this is further forward, that's right. I want to say it fits. I'm looking at this, I don't see a pin configuration that maybe. Actually, it depends where the warp emitter, or not the warp emitters, the transporter emitters. How did it come out? When you did it? Like I said, I haven't gotten a chance to do it yet. Haven't been brave enough yet, I guess you could say. No wonder I am on the wrong side of the ship. This fits down. Cool. I am looking forward to seeing that. I've seen World of Wayne's, but he is almost a professional modeler. As a matter of fact, I don't know that he does anything besides models. That's actually a little bit further forward than I was expecting, but no, it's right. And I'm guessing this doesn't have a piece yet. This probably is not sure. But I do know that when it mounts, it's going to have a third light in here. That is where I'm at so far. And of course, can't forget this. And the funny thing is, I'm concerned about screwing up one of my nacelles. I ended up with three of the starter packs, so I have 3 nacelles to screw with, and I haven't done it. Did you? And Mark, did you use a craft paint, or did you use something thicker than that, or like a Model Master or something like that? As a matter of fact, if I can thin this enough, that would probably work really good. But I'm going to probably use a craft, because a craft is a lot easier to take off. Oh, you did use Tamiya. Okay. Yeah. I've also got the metallic from Humbrol. I'll have to try that soon so I can show it on the one of the live streams. Okay, so that's where we are. I've seen pictures of issue 5. There's a lot more coming in issue 5. I think it actually finishes out the saucer frame, and then more saucer pieces. Looking forward to it. I'm enjoying this build. Seen some people doing the mod back here for the light. Wow, I may have to change out my bridge. I got a slight ding there. This is still not sitting flat. It'll fix itself once it's actually attached. Okay, that's good. That's what I'm going to be looking for. I'm not going to try and block the blue completely, because I think if you do, you're going to end up not getting anything through. So this is where we're at. Hopefully I'll have issue 5 for next week. If not, you can depend on either the Ecto or the Terminator. Probably this weekend I will do more on the Terminator, because Terminator, I'm really close. I should have all the parts for it next week. I need to pull out the X-Wing, do the slight repairs for the mess I made of the cockpit. Unfortunately, everything is glued in there, so there's not much I can do other than try and do a little bit of light blocking with the Tulip. Once that's done, I'll be doing getting the X-Wing back out, because the X-Wing is close to done. I have all the parts. Actually, it's not close to done. I want to say I'm like about 50 issues away from being completed. But the X-Wing, since I have all the parts, is going to be a filler for everything from now on whenever I don't have something. So lots going on. It will. I fully agree, Mark. It will look awesome. Lots going on. I'm going to get back to the Titanic, back to the Black Pearl. Titanic's biggest holdup was I was waiting for the new internal framework for the ship that also is compatible with the light kit I have, plus a few other bells and whistles I'll have to explain when I get it in. It does, Kenny. I'm always like, how did I spend 90 minutes doing this? But no, the internal framework is completely different. It's made for the model magic scale modeling light kit, and it's got other additional features. It's going to have there's going to be no power connection going through. It's going to be, I've got one here. I use it on my phone when I'm not charging my phone and using it as a camera. But it's got one of these that goes through the skin of the ship, and that's how it's going to be powered. It's going to be a USB powered thing. It also has a spot. It's designed to let you cut open the hull so that you can put the board in where you can get it out if it ever breaks or if there's an update. A lot of good things to it. I will get, when I get that in, I will press on with a Titanic. I've got got a couple of masts with it. Those are the most recent part. The masts are the parts that let you put the lights up at the top. Let's see. I agree, Donnie. I should always have Enterprise parts. Seen Magic Seal? I have. I was going to suggest that to you, Donnie, at some point. I saw that you were doing the B-17. I have a B-17. I might have to get that kit sometime, but it's one of those things. If my light kits are starting to cost more than my model kits, but some of the stuff they do is really, really cool. So I'm going to call it a stream. It's been, like Kenny pointed out, it's been another 90 minutes. Someday, well, actually the only time that I hit less than an hour, I went and got more parts and built something else. So more coming on the space shuttle, more coming on the Enterprise, the Ecto-1, the X-Wing. I'm finally getting back to my F-16. It's May now. The unofficial group build from Kenny for the veterans build. Yeah, I've got another 6 months before I got to have that done. So, have a great evening. Have a great day tomorrow. Like and subscribe, or don't, your choice. I just remind you that you can. Come over to HLI if you're not a member. Even if you are a member, there's always stuff going on. I look at HLI every day, and let me see, just at this point, just because I've been on here, I looked at one thing today. Yeah, I'm up to almost a full page of new posts and 7 messages on HLI. Great place to go to see a lot of models. Well, that's interesting, Kenny. I'll have to read that. Apparently Squadron is... Oh, that's right. Squadron was bought by somebody, so it should be coming back. I think it was Randy Cooper who bought Squadron out. But HLI is a great place to go. There you'll also find... you'll see a lot of builds from Mark, Donnie, Spencer. Who else is on the street? Rascals Hobbies. Just a whole bunch of people. Great place to visit. Great place to make your second home, or make it your modeling home. So with that, I'm going to call it a night, and thank you guys for stopping by. Plan on next Tuesday doing more Enterprise parts. If not, it'll be probably be Ecto 1 parts. So talk to you later, and catch you on the flip side.